Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today. So, I have actually left this episode this week till the absolute last minute. So, it's Thursday afternoon and I post these on Friday morning. So, it's a lesson for me about putting things off. I had a busy week, and I mean, part of it was busy, and part of it was just that the time that I did have free, I really just didn't feel like doing it. And that's just part of life. So I didn't have the desire to conjure up the brain power for it. So, lesson learned for me. I'm down to the wire to do it, but I love doing it. So, I'm not skipping it this week. So, today I want to talk to you about kind of the connection between change and being uncomfortable. So, there's a lot of stuff out there, good motivational quotes and books and all kinds of things about change and how important change is and how we all go through change, and all of that's absolutely true. But change looks different for every person. It comes in different phases of life, and we're constantly changing and growing, right? But what I find myself talking to people about, and just kind of my thoughts on it, is that for change to truly happen, a lot of the times we have to be uncomfortable. And what that means is that things don't come easily all the time. Sometimes we're lucky and good things change in our lives just based on nothing but luck and, just things falling into place by absolutely no doing of our own. It just works out that way. But I would say most of the time, anything that's worth doing takes effort, and effort a lot of the time can be uncomfortable. And what I mean by uncomfortable, I'm not saying like necessarily physically, even though sometimes that could be the case, but most of the time it's just about the idea of having to do something that you don't want to do, whether it's something that you're not sure how to do, and so you have to learn it for the first time, and that can come with a lot of fear, anxiety, or if it's something you've tried before and you didn't do very well at it, and so having to do it again, you're nervous that you might mess it up. Or physical, discomfort, maybe having to go to the doctor and deal with a health issue, or having to start exercising to get healthier and you've never done that, or, so discomfort comes in many shapes, forms, sizes, whatever. But basically, my thought on this is for you to do something and to do well at something, or to get better at a skill, or just to generally improve your life, that a lot of the time comes with doing things that you're not comfortable doing. And if everything came easily to everyone, then everyone would be doing exactly what they wanted to do in life. No one would struggle with any kind of stress, whether it's financially or emotionally or, with family or health or anything like that. But the reality is that's just not life. And no matter how much you want that to be the case, it's just not. And so you could either sit around and wait for your life to go in the direction that you want it to go, or for you to finally start the business you wanted to start, or go to school and get the degree you wanted to get, or, plant flowers in your backyard. Whatever your goal is, if there's something, even if it's not a goal, even if it's just a thought or a dream or a wish, for that to happen, you need to get moving. You need to do stuff. And that's all of us. All of us. I mean, very few things that are good accomplishments just happen because of luck. Sometimes they do. Most of the time, we need to work at it. So, my question to you is, how often do you put yourself in a position where you're willing to do the work to achieve a dream, a wish, a goal? And when you do that, are you willing to be uncomfortable? Because so many people that I talk to have these big goals and plans and wishes, and they want so badly to be able to achieve something. But when if you come to me and you tell me you want to do something, then I'm going to help you do it. And most of the time, that's going to come with a plan of some sort and ways to act out that plan, whether it's things that you need to do today, or things you need to start tomorrow, or changes that you need to make in your routine. If you want to do something, then I'm going to hold you accountable to that, because otherwise, what are you talking about it for? So I want you to be kind of really thinking, are you the kind of person that just talks talks about things that you want to get better or things that you want to achieve in your life, or are you a doer? And you may have been a doer before, but now you've just kind of lost motivation and you don't really do stuff, or you may never have really been motivated to do things and now you're starting to want to do things, or you might be somewhere in between. But my challenge to you is, let's go, do the thing, get up and stop waiting for things to just get better in your life and start doing something about it. But you are going to have to first and foremost accept that you are going to have to get uncomfortable for you to get better. You're going to have to be uncomfortable for you to grow in any way in your life. So I actually, this is coming straight out of a conversation with a client. Actually, it was my client's idea. She presented this topic to me and I was like, hey, we should do an episode on this. So it's her topic and she knows who she is. But we were talking about just kind of generally making decisions, instead of just being in a place where you struggle with something, finally getting to the point where you're willing to make the change, and that the change comes with discomfort. And she gave me the example, one of the examples in her life when she was kind of referencing back to times where she has overcome something by embracing the discomfort. We were talking about in her job, she was required to give presentations and do some speaking in front of other people. And this was something that was not comfortable for her. She was terrified of it. And she really didn't have a choice but to do it. There was no way around it. She just had to do it. She just had to put herself in that position, recognizing that there was no way around it, recognizing that it was going to be uncomfortable and it was going to suck, but it was something that she had to do. So she just had to start doing it. And the more she did it, the better she got at it, the more confident she got at it, that now if someone asks her to present, it's a part of her job now. And she does it without any hesitation. It doesn't even bother her at all to do it. And this is something that in hindsight for her, she knows was terrifying and she didn't want to do it. So she was in a position where she had to become uncomfortable in order to achieve a thing that she really had no choice about. She had to do it. And I love that example because it's an example we can all relate to. Being in a position where we have to do something socially, whether it's make a call, order something, make a doctor's appointment, schedule something, anything, we have to socially engage with other people, or we have to walk into a place and interact with someone. So many people struggle with that, and so many people feel uncomfortable that they will avoid certain situations just to not have to experience that discomfort or anxiety or nervousness or whatever. And for some people, it's a low level discomfort, like, I just don't feel like doing it, it makes me uncomfortable. And for other people, it can be a debilitating anxiety where they don't even leave their house because they are so anxious about social situations and interactions for different reasons. And so I think that that's something that we all can relate to on some level, some more than others. But the difference is, in some situations, like in my client's situation, she had no choice. She had to do this as part of her job responsibility. And, I guess her choice was to not do it and lose her job, maybe. But she had to do it, so she did it. But for a lot of people, it's not a must. It's I'd like to achieve this thing. I wish I could interact with people without being so anxious. I wish I could go to this place and talk to people, or I wish I could go back to school. I wish I could start my own business, anything. Sometimes it's as simple as I wish I could wear certain clothes without feeling uncomfortable and worrying people are going to judge me. I wish I could go to the gym knowing that people might look at me because I'm not doing it right. So the I want tos, those to me are more important than the I have to. Being in a situation where you want to do the thing, or most of the time we don't want to do it, but we want to have that final result. I don't want to do the process, but I want to get to that result. I wish I could be able to, go on this trip that costs this much money, but for me to do that, I have to work extra. I have to pick up extra jobs. I don't know, I'm just making this up as I go, but the discomfort of having to do something out of the norm. And again, discomfort can be something that you feel, but a lot of the times it's just inconvenience, the discomfort of being inconvenienced and having to work extra or having to try harder it's just not something that we always want to do. And most people, at least my experience in working directly with clients every day, is that more often than not, we don't want to put in the effort unless we absolutely have to. Or if we are at a point of like, where I've seen people make the most effort for a change, like maybe in a job, is when they've hit that breaking point at their job. They're not doing it because they'd like a better job or they'd like a job that pays more or they want to do something different in their career. They're doing it because they hate their job or something awful is happening. And so they're finally thinking about the wish they had had at one point about a different kind of career, or just taking a leap of faith and jumping into a new company to do what they're already doing. But people are typically scared of change. They don't want to risk being uncomfortable, even if the situation they're in at the time is not great. It's familiar, therefore it is comfortable. But to advance your life and to get to a place where you are happier, it typically comes with risk or just effort. And so many people don't want to do that. And I'm not faulting you, I'm not accusing you of anything. I absolutely can relate to that, where I just don't want to. Like, I would love to get to that next step, or I'd love to do this thing, but I don't want to give up the time I have doing this and invest that time in that, because that sounds like it's not so exciting. Yeah, I want the end result sounds really exciting, but the process and the effort does not sound fun to me. So I don't want to do it. But I have to remind myself that the end result is only achieved by walking through the steps and really taking it and just sucking it up sometimes. Just deal with it no matter how much I don't want to do it, because at the end of that work and discomfort comes reward of achieving that goal or that dream, or just finishing the thing that I have been putting off, that it hangs over my head and I just want it done. And so we're all in this together. We are all, I think, collectively avoidant when it comes to hard work and effort and things that make us uncomfortable. And then you've got some people that are just always hustlers and always working really hard no matter what it is. They never quit, they never stop. But I would say most of us pick and choose where we want to invest our effort. And a lot of the times we choose to delay something, put it off until it becomes such a far off goal and dream that we feel like we just don't have what it takes. But we always have what it takes if we're willing to do the work, if we're willing to put in the effort, if we're willing to be uncomfortable along the way, work harder. We always have the potential to achieve those, right? And so I think it's just something that we have to be mindful of for ourselves. When I'm saying this to you, I don't know what area of life this resonates with for you, but I just want you to think, like, what are the areas of your life that you know you would have liked to do something different at this point? You would have liked to be in a different place, whether it's professionally or personally or your health, whatever. What is something that you wish you would have done differently, or what is something that you wish you could just motivate yourself to do? And I understand there are some things that that time has passed and we just can't do it. And that's acceptance that we all have to come to. There are just certain things in life that, we missed our opportunity. But I'm not talking about those things. I'm talking about the things that if you know that you could just put in a little bit of effort for it, do a little bit of the hard work, and it would get you to that goal, or get you to this place where you feel more proud of yourself or more accomplished or just happier in your life. What are those things? And is this going to be the time of your life that you decide to invest time, effort, whatever, energy into? Because you have to be uncomfortable to change. You have to be uncomfortable to grow. And at the end of that comes the reward of the accomplishment and the leveling up of your life. So what is that for you? In what area could you dedicate a little bit more effort, knowing that it could take away from another area of your life? Obviously, make good choices. Don't hurt yourself or your family or your finances. Make very informed and smart decisions. But if it is time for you to start working towards something, achieving a goal, accomplishing something, then let's go. Let's do it. I am always in favor, and if you know me whether you're a client or a personal friend that's close to me, then if you tell me there's something you want to do, I'm the first person to be like, okay, what do we need to do? What appointment do you need to make? What call do you need to make? Who do you need to reach out to? What list do you need to make? Because I know what it's like to start something from the ground up. I know what it's like to feel like I don't ever have the potential. Like before I started my practice, I'd always, always loved the idea of having a private practice. I mean, from the beginning of college 20 years ago, that just sounded like the dream job. I'd love to have my own practice. And it wasn't until, 5 years ago, maybe, that I finally did it, because for the first 15 years, obviously part of that I was in school, but then it just seemed like such a far off goal that I was not capable of. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't think I had what it took. It just sounded like way too much work, and the potential for failure was way too strong. The risk, the liability was huge, and I just didn't think I had what it took. And it wasn't until I came to a crossroads where I was working, where I was not happy. I didn't want to be where I was anymore, where I was working, and I didn't have a lot of options. Yeah, I could have found a different practice to go work out, a group practice or an agency like I had been, but I needed a cheerleader, and that was my husband, and he was the one that was like, why not? Why can't you do this? So you have to do a little bit of work. So you have to learn about the thing that you just assume is unachievable. Let's figure it out. Tell me what it takes, and then we'll decide if it's achievable or not. And that's all he needed to do, was say, what does it take? So I started doing research and realized it really was doable. It was a lot of work. I worked really hard, and he helped me, and he supported me. And I busted my butt, and I started my own practice. And now, I think it's been 5 years. I've lost track. 5 years later, I have a practice that I have grown and added other therapists to, and I started this podcast. Never would have thought I would do that. So essentially have this secondary part to my business. I'm doing other things that I'm creating. I've published a journal for my clients and other people. Like, I've done these things that 6 years ago, or even 5.5 years ago, absolutely never would have thought I was personally capable of that. And it's not anything special about me. It's just that I did the work, and I put in the effort, and I was uncomfortable, and I was scared, and it was a leap of faith. Every step of the way, there was a reason to doubt whether or not it would work. Even when I published the journal, I kept telling people, like, this might not be something anyone cares about. But the people who use it love it, and that's it. That's fine. It's not a widely published thing. It's not something I am really depending on in any way financially. It didn't do a whole lot, but it did enough. It did what I wanted it to do for the people that I knew would use it, and that had to be enough. But if my goal was something unreasonable, like #1 bestseller in therapy books, that's not reasonable. Why would I set that goal? But I wanted to do something. I put myself out there. I published it, and it did what I wanted it to do. Could it do more? Absolutely. I'd love that. But I'm going to have to put in the effort. I've not done anything to market it. If I want it to do better, I better put in the effort. So I should probably take my own advice from this episode and put in a little bit more effort. But all that to say, why not? Why can't you do the thing that you've wanted to do? Why can't you work towards a goal? There's no reason why you can't. And if there are real, actual obstacles, all right. Is there anything that can help? Anyone that can help you? Is there anyone that you can reach out to who would help you navigate that? And the answer to some of this stuff might just be no. That window has closed and you can't do it. But very few of us have like one goal, right? So just because one thing doesn't work out doesn't mean that you can't work on another part of your life to get better and happier and level it up, get to a better place. So on that note, I'm going to wrap up. I hope this motivates you to do something, just do something to get to a better place and put in the effort and get uncomfortable for change. So I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.